And the question is,
let me give you
why?
an example. I'll give you an example. In the example of Kilmar Obrego-Garcia, I believe he already got his due process. Yes. He had a deportation order. So for Trump to be asked, does that man deserve more due process? I think the answer is absolutely not. I don't want another dime of my taxpayer dollars to go to. He was not supposed to be sent to El Salvador. Let's he had a deportation.
Let's put Kilmar Obrego-Garcia to the side.
No, but I'm just using him as an example
I know that you are.
Of someone who
but I
Trump
also
could
think
very legitimately say
okay.
does not need any more due process.
Well, it's not.
That's disaffected liberal and unexpected Trump defender Batya Ungar-Sargon shutting down CNN's Abby Phillip in her media-issued meltdown over the deportation of Obrego-Garcia. Welcome to Nerk News, I'm Nerkish, and it looks like CNN tried to stack the deck and got burned once again. Because in their latest attempt to frame President Trump's immigration agenda as unconstitutional and cruel, they trotted out the same tired talking points about due process for illegal aliens. But then something unexpected happened. Batya Ungar-Sargon, one of the few liberals left with a shred of intellectual honesty, absolutely torched their narrative. Here's Sargon stepping in with a dose of reality and exposing the selective outrage that CNN and their Democrat masters rely on to try to stay relevant.
I do think the media is pulling another, dictator for a day hoax right now, because it's clear when Trump said, I don't know, what he meant was what he finished his sentence saying, which is, I don't know where the Supreme Court is going to come down on whether deporting these illegal migrants is constitutional or not. It's very obvious, yet every single headline...
You just called it a hoax, so let's just play. Can we play it again in the control room, what Trump said in response to Kristen Walker?
You need to uphold the Constitution of the United States as president?
I don't know. I have to respond by saying again, I have brilliant lawyers that work for me, and they are going to obviously follow what the Supreme Court said.
What's wrong with that?
So the Supreme Court is going to decide what is constitutional and what is not. And Trump just committed 100% to following what the Supreme Court says. I want to make one more very quick point.
There's another clip. Do we have the other one where he talks about whether citizens deserve due process? If we do, let's play that one.
Your Secretary of State says everyone who's here, citizens and non-citizens, deserve due process. Do you agree, Mr. President?
I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know.
Well, the Fifth Amendment says...
I don't know. It seems it might say that, but if you're talking about that, then we'd have to have 1 million or 2 million or 3 million trials.
So can I respond to that?
Yeah.
So what does it mean for an illegal immigrant to have due process? We would all agree that they do not have the same level of due process that we do. For example, we are entitled to a jury trial, and they are entitled to a hearing before an immigration judge. Do you know who the immigration judges work for? They work for the executive branch. They work for, which means that they work for Donald Trump.
You're actually making a great
of the due process that they get.
But Donald Trump.
It's kind of amazing watching Abby Phillip try to act like she's delivering some grand indictment of Trump by repeatedly playing clips of him stating the obvious. As if quoting the guy word for word is going to tank his approval with people who got him elected to do exactly what he's doing. The truth is, the left has spent years gutting immigration enforcement, and now they're losing their minds because Trump isn't playing along. And people like Sargon and Jennings calling them out for it absolutely gets under their skin. Here's Batya again hitting them where it hurts with an unexpected truth and making Abby Phillip and the other panelists squirm.
I have to just bring up something about Trump and prisons that no one ever talks about. He never gets credit for, which is the First Step Act. He released 5,000 black men from prison, and he never gets any credit for this. He was one of the first president in decades to actually shrink the population in our prisons. I just dispute this idea that he's some sort of that the nationalism is somehow dangerous to Americans. We need a dose of that. We need a dose of thinking about which Americans should we be helping? Which Americans should we be focused on? Which vulnerable Americans deserve our attention? And I think that this presidency is really
focused on that. Black men. Is it just me, or could you actually hear the oxygen leave the room when she brings up Trump's First Step Act? Because heaven forbid, CNN actually acknowledged that the guy they've spent the last decade calling a racist actually passes one of the most impactful criminal justice reforms in modern history. Just go back and watch that clip because you can see it on Phillip's face that she wasn't ready for that. And what makes all of this worse is how shameless their hypocrisy is on this issue. These same people will make a spectacle out of crying over the deportation of an illegal alien linked to MS-13 while calling for Elon Musk to be deported because he left their liberal loony bin. They clearly don't care about fairness or due process, they only care about power, and right now they're losing it. But let me know what you think. Is CNN's phony outrage just more of the same, or are they starting to realize that people are waking up to their act? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff really does help us out. Until then, this has been Nerk News. Thanks for watching. Bye.